Create Art Podcast, Project National Novel Writing Month, and National Podcast Post Month. Hello, friends. This is Timothy Chemo Bryan, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast, where I take my 20 plus years of experience in the arts and education world and help you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. Well, it's November. Can you believe it? For me, that means celebrating my favorite holiday, which is Thanksgiving. Also, this is my third year for National Novel Writing Month, and where I'll be writing a 50,000 word novel and podcasting every day for National Podcasting Post Month. Killing two birds with one stone. So you're going to hear from me every day in the month reading the daily output of the novel. I'd appreciate any comments that you have, so please feel free to let me know what you're thinking. You can email me, timothy@createartpodcast.com, or if you go right to the website on each day, you can post your comments right there on the post. Now, why do I do this? Well, if I'm going to ask you to be brave out there and share your work, then I better do it myself. Plus, it keeps my creative muscle going. And who knows what's going to come out of my keyboard here. The podcasting side of the house, it helps me develop my podcasting skills in editing, posting, show notes, all that other stuff that hopefully you don't hear too much of. Now, you can find out about National Novel Writing Month by going to my website and in the show notes, and I'll have the links there for you. And also, National Podcasting Post Month also is going to be in the show notes. So here's today's output. All right, we've made it to 9 November of 2022. And the words today is 1,672 and gives us a grand total of 13,391. All right. Detective Courtney took them all the way to their car and made sure they got in okay. He tapped the back bumper of their car, leaving a tracker there nonchalantly. He walked back to the entrance as they pulled out and waved goodbye. As the Bales pulled out of the garage, Detective Courtney received a text with 2 thumbs up. One for the tracker being placed and the signal received, and the other thumbs up for the burglars that were out of the Bales residence. He was smiling as he made his way back to his office, and he received a notification from Cody about needing a status report immediately. Detective Courtney replied with a "Mr. Clean is not here" text message. Cody responded back with an exclamation mark emoji. When Detective Courtney got back to his office after pushing past everyone, he was slightly out of breath. He pulled out his mini laptop and turned it on to see Cody behind the desk. "I know we're not sanitized. Can you get to the room?" asked Cody. "It's in use for the time being. Not sure when it'll open up," replied Detective Courtney. Username 87 recognized the signal coming from Detective Courtney's office as a virtual office program. They went ahead and utilized their administrator rights as some of the developers of the virtual office had worked on this program. They attempted to mask themselves by appearing as a clone account to Detective Courtney. "Why are there 2 of you in this meeting room?" asked Cody. "It's probably some glitch in the system. What do you need to talk to me about so urgently?" asked Detective Courtney. "Can you log out and log back in, maybe to clear it out?" asked Cody. Username 87 knew that they had to be precise when they logged out and logged back in as the clone. They took a deep breath and logged out just at the same time Detective Courtney logged out, and they timed the login with the same precision. "Did that clear it up?" asked Detective Courtney. No, there's still 2 instances of you in the meeting room. I'll get a trouble ticket in on this with the company. One of you has a camera on, the other one has no camera icon. Very strange. Can you meet me at the clubhouse? I'm not trusting this virtual office if we can't sanitize it," replied Cody. "I'm kind of in the middle of a murder investigation right now. This will need to be quick," replied Detective Courtney. "As soon as you can. Cody out," replied Cody as he turned off the virtual meeting room. He remembered when they first started using the new virtual office and the issues that they faced. As with all new technology, there was growing pains that they were facing, and financing this was becoming difficult. But with Bruce's ability to raise funds for the followers of Xeno, they were able to stay afloat. And now with Wolfgang's actions, they had a chance to become relevant. He mentally noted the incident and sent a trouble ticket to the support team for the virtual office. Username 87 pinged username 1 about the recent update. I think we may have a way into their sanitized meetings. I used an administrator backdoor and cloned one of Detective Courtney's accounts. It came up to Cody that there were 2 Detective Courtneys on the call, but only one had video capabilities. They're going to meet in person at their clubhouse soon. Can we have a lock on the detective's location in time? Asked username 87. Yes, we can. I'll get the traffic cams to record him. But let's talk about the backdoor you used. We helped design that app. We should have known about all the backdoors, said username 1. I noticed the detective's phone was getting a text, and they didn't sanitize like they usually do when they start a meeting. But I think it was because they're using the same pathway that the cell phone signal takes. I was able to hop on for the meeting. I'm not sure why they didn't take this meeting to the shielded room of the police station. Maybe they're getting ready to drop something early, said username 87. If we can time it right, maybe that would be a good inject point for the tool. Do you think you can replicate those conditions? Asked username number 1. Probably, only if it's with the detective and his device. I'll stay tuned into his channel for a while and let you know when or if I'm back in, said username 87. I'll direct username 72 to get you a copy of the tool for the inject. I hope we can get this done soon and help the Bales out, said username number 1 somberly. Detective Courtney received a text message with just the number 2 on it. He changed directions and he drove towards the first safe house. The safe house was in the middle of a populated area of Alewell. It was a low crime area in one of the blue-collar neighborhoods. The detective pulled up into the driveway, and the garage door opened for him to come in. He waited until the garage door closed before he left his vehicle and entered the house. The eat-in kitchen he walked into had a round table, and on one side had a round table to one side, and on that table was a mini laptop already up and running. He entered his credentials, and Cody appeared in the virtual office. About a second later, the clone account for Detective Courtney appeared. Detective Courtney could see Cody's frustrated face as Cody punched away at the keys. Okay, I'm going to sanitize, said Cody. I can't see the other account of mine that you're seeing, said Detective Courtney. The help desk said it was probably a glitch on my end, but this time this account came on about a second after you logged in. Well, doesn't matter, we're sanitized now. There it goes. The second clone account is gone. So, the reason I need to talk to you is that we have the script ready to deploy. I'm going to have it released about 2 hours after your press conference. Since Tinley is the easiest of the 2 targets, we will focus the brunt of the attack on her. I wanted you to know so that when she starts getting calls and emails and her social media profiles are targeted, you can expect her to call, and when she does, I want you to encourage her to get in front of the media and make noise. The more noise we bring on, the bigger the payoff for us, said Cody. Username 87 was still in the virtual office when he went ahead and completed the sequence to inject the tool into the servers that the followers of Xeno were using. They could not back out of the meeting for fear that they may trip the sanitation alarm. So they just hung back after the tool was fully injected and waited for the meeting to be over so they could report to username number 1. I think I can convince her to do it. In my interview with her, she seems like the one in the couple that would be more outspoken. Also, since she's a mother, it would make complete sense for her to step out in the light first. And even if her husband tries to defend her, it would just come off as simply a husband supporting their deranged wife. We will be revealing their names at the press conference and announcing that we don't have a suspect or description of a suspect. I assume we have a plan to erase the child's identity from the school, asked Detective Courtney. We've already tapped into the school's computers and wiped them clean of any trace of her. They won't know her records are gone until the morning news hits, replied Cody. This is going to be great for our cause. And come election time, the opposition will never recover. Heck, we may even get a mayor impeached, laughed Detective Courtney. Right now, we need you to get back to the station and make a good show at the press conference. I want to see outrage and anger. That way, when it comes out that this was a hoax, you will be a sympathetic character in this play. There may even be a promotion to police chief or mayoral run for you, tempted Cody. I'll just take the police chief. The political stuff is too much heartburn. Courtney out. Detective Courtney closed the connection, as did Cody. Username 87 quickly broke off connection at the same time and reported back to username number 1. Tool deployed without incident. They will be starting their disinformation campaign tonight, lightly and in full force in the morning. According to estimates by username number 72 and username number 42, we're looking at 12 hours before we know if we're successful. Also, they have a safe house and a clubhouse. The safe house did not have Cody in person from my estimation. They talked in a virtual office. We at least have surveillance on the safe house now. But it would be nice to get the central nervous system of this group, reported 87. Well, when the Roaches wake up tomorrow, they will be in for a big surprise. Great work in getting the tool injected. Since it's now active, we are changing its name to Blue Solomon. When it begins to make its reports, that is how we will refer to it. We will keep the pronouns gender neutral for as long as it wants, or until it identifies their chosen pronoun. Under no circumstances allow it to penetrate your resources or our network. If it even looks like it's coming in our direction, we will use the nuclear option, said username number 1. Thank you for listening to this episode of Create Art Podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard or absolutely hated it, hey, please feel free to leave me a comment right there on the website, or you can email me, timothy@createartpodcast.com. If you got something out of any of the episodes here, please consider sharing it with a friend. And if you would, also let me know what would make this a 5-star podcast, I'd like to hear that. I want to make sure that I'm helping you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. By the way, I run another podcast called Find a Podcast About, and that's where I help you outsmart the algorithm and find your next binge-worthy podcast. You can find that at findapodcastabout.xyz. If you go to the website, there's a way where you can leave me an actual voicemail, which I think is pretty nifty. Anyhow, I have a lot of reviews there of different podcasts from different genres, and I even have some interviews from the podcasters themselves. So if you're looking for a new podcast with a great recommendation, with a well thought out critique of everything you need to know about the podcast, then go to findapodcastabout.xyz. We'll see you next time.